All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about Carbonyte today. What is it? Well, it's this incredible idea that asks, what if the biggest key to fighting climate change was literally right on our own shores? We're going to look at how this project is turning India's coastlines into a real force for good, connecting them to the, honestly, booming world of carbon credits. So, think about it for a second. We usually see our coasts as, well, victims, right? They're threatened by rising sea levels and all that. But what if we've just been looking at this completely backwards? What if those exact same coastlines hold this incredible, untapped power to actually fight back against the damage? That's the real question here, isn't it? How do we unlock that potential? Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the blue carbon opportunity, what that even is. Then we'll get into Carbonyte itself, our solution. We'll touch on the tech that makes it trustworthy, talk about if it's actually feasible, and wrap up with the vision for its impact. Sound good? Let's go. All right, first up, the blue carbon opportunity. We're talking about tapping into the seriously untapped power of India's coastline. So first things first, what in the world is blue carbon? Simply put, it's all the carbon that gets captured and stored by our oceans and coastal ecosystems. You know, things like mangroves, seagrasses, and get this, a mangrove forest can store up to 10 times more carbon than a forest on land. That's just insane. These aren't just pretty shorelines. They are literal carbon-sucking supermachines. And here's the kicker. This whole carbon credit market, it's absolutely exploding. We're talking about a projected value of over $50 billion by 2030. So when you think about India's massive coastline, this isn't just a nice environmental story. No, this is a gigantic economic opportunity that's just sitting there, waiting for us to grab it. So you've got this amazing natural resource on one side and this huge global market on the other. But how do you connect the two? How do you connect a small local mangrove project to that multi-billion-dollar industry? You need a bridge, and that's exactly what Carbonyte is. It's the solution, a platform built on the two most important things, trust and transparency. So what does Carbonyte actually do? Well, at its core, it's pretty straightforward. First, it lets us track all the amazing restoration work happening on the ground. Second, it takes that work and turns it into carbon credits that you can actually verify. Third, and this is huge, it empowers the local communities doing the heavy lifting with real revenue. And finally, it makes sure all of this is transparent, feeding into India's climate action goals. Okay, I absolutely love this because it shows the whole cycle and it's a perfect system. Think of it as a loop that keeps feeding itself. It starts with the local communities. They do the restoration work and they record it with geotagged data. Then, a combo of AI and blockchain steps in to verify and secure that data. That process creates a real tradable carbon credit. And then, the best part, the money from selling that credit goes right back to the community, helping them grow and do even more restoration. It is the definition of a win-win. Now, obviously, for a system like this to actually work, trust is everything. So let's get into the tech that makes it all happen, the stuff that builds unquestionable integrity right into its DNA. Okay, let's be real for a second. In a market that's basically built on promises, how do you guarantee that a carbon credit is, well, real? That it's unique, that no one is selling the same credit twice? How do you make it completely tamper-proof? This is the core challenge, the absolute billion-dollar question. And the answer, the secret sauce here, is blockchain. Let me put it this way. A traditional database, it's kind of like a single Word doc on one person's computer. They can go in, they can edit it, they can delete things. It's centralized. But a blockchain? Now that's more like a Google Doc that's been shared with thousands of people. Once something is written down, it's there forever, for everyone to see. It's immutable, it's transparent. You don't have to trust one single person, you can trust the system itself. And we're not just using any old blockchain either. We specifically chose Polygon, and there's a really good reason for that. It's all about speed and cost. Polygon lets us do transactions super fast and super cheap, which is absolutely critical if you're trying to build something that can work at the massive scale we're talking about in India. All right, so a cool idea and some smart tech is great, but can it actually work in the real world? Let's talk about feasibility, how we take this from a great idea to a grounded reality. Look, any big project is going to have challenges. We know that. So we've tried to think ahead. For example, what about data fraud? Well, we use AI and machine learning to analyze the data, plus human checks. What about a village that has terrible internet connection? No problem. The mobile app works completely offline and just syncs up later when it finds a signal. It's about building a practical tool, not just a cool piece of tech. So really, it all boils down to three main pillars that make this whole thing feasible. First, it's technically solid. We're using things like Polygon that can scale up. Second, it's operationally simple. It's a mobile-first design that anyone can use. And third, it makes economic sense. The tech is low cost, and the carbon credits themselves are high value. That's the foundation. Okay, so what does this all add up to? What's the big picture here? This is where the vision really comes to life. We're not just talking about carbon credits anymore. We're talking about a totally new way for India to create value, socially, economically, and environmentally. And the best part is, this isn't a zero-sum game where if one person wins, another has to lose. Not at all. Carbonite creates this thriving ecosystem where pretty much everyone benefits. Local communities get a new stream of income, the government gets clear, transparent data for its goals, corporate buyers get access to legit, high-quality carbon credits. It's a cycle where everybody wins. Let's just zero in on the social benefit for a second, because this is so important. Just picture a fishing community. For generations, they've lived alongside the mangroves. Now, they're not just protecting them, they're earning a direct income for it. This is not charity. This is economic empowerment. It gives them true ownership and a real stake in protecting their local environment. And from an economic standpoint, it's a potential game changer. We're talking about unlocking that massive, multi-billion-dollar global market and redirecting a piece of that value right back here to India. That means new jobs, new investment, new opportunities. And of course, underneath it all is the environmental win. That's the whole foundation. We're protecting vital biodiversity and our coastal ecosystems, and at the same time, we're helping to speed up India's journey toward its huge goal of being net zero by 2070. You know, this quote really nails it. Carbonite isn't just a project, it's a new paradigm. And that's exactly what we're aiming for. Not just another app or another platform, but a whole new way of thinking about climate action in India, one that's transparent, community first, and gets real results. So this brings us to the final question. And it's not just for us, it's for everyone. Are we ready to do this? Are we ready to build India's transparent blue economy together? Because honestly, the tech is ready. The opportunity is staring us right in the face. And the kind of future this can create, it's closer than you think.